Very happy to have Julius and April from Afrikan Dreamin. That's the name of their YouTube channel. And this is a Black American expat couple who moved to Tanzania, country in Africa, for a better life. You know, many people think, oh, well, you know, life is supposed to be great in the US, and that's what it's supposed to be. But as we will see, many Americans are leaving the US to expat to other countries for a better life. And I'm very happy to have uh, Julius and April from Afrikan Dreamin. They live in Tanzania. Their tagline is being country in another country. I love that tagline. I think that's awesome. And we're going to learn more about their motivations for leaving the USA and the preferences of Tanzania and what keeps them there. Julius, April, welcome.
Hi.
Hey, how are you? Hey, Calvin,
I'm doing well, doing well. Very happy to have you. So let's get right into it. You know, a lot of people have this idea that, you know, there's nothing better than the U.S. You know, and the U.S. has everything. The U.S. is the best, and living in another country, it doesn't make sense for many people because they figure, well, if you have everything, why would you leave that to live somewhere else that people may believe that's underdeveloped, impoverished, or any of these other stereotypes. So let's start from 12 months before you moved to Tanzania, that kind of timeline. You know, where were you at in your lives?
Oh wow, this would be definitely a two-parter because like most people who repatriate, there's usually a lot going on, mostly a lot of decision making and a lot of different caveats set in place that help prompt a person to go ahead and say, yeah, this is what I'm about to make that move. Mm-hmm. So would you like to start, babe?
So where we were in life a year before Tanzania, so I would say we were both working hard. I was in the medical field. I was in management in the medical field, and
like healthcare administration.
I'm sorry.
Like healthcare administration.
Pretty much managing. Okay. I was managing laboratory and reception staff and radiology staff. So I had a very full plate. And COVID hit, the pandemic hit, and there was a lot of changes in the medical field at that time. There was a lot of things going on, and it just got to the point for me. I was just a little tired. It was a lot going on. Healthcare has always been unsafe. You know, it can be unsafe as far as, you know, what you're doing and what field you're in the medical world. But the pandemic hit and everything just changed. I've been in healthcare for a very long time, and I saw over the course of my career, I saw a lot of changes. But when the pandemic hit, everything just turned on its head, and things just changed rapidly. So we were, you know, dealing with the pandemic, and, you know, having to stay at home on lockdowns and only having to leave for certain things. And we had things going on with our family.
Yeah,
we lost quite a few family members in a span of a year and a half.
Yeah.
And that just prompted, you know, people say it all the time, life is short. But that really hit home for us because we lost so many people of all age ranges. And that just lit a fire under us. We were like, it's time to go. It's time to go see something, do something different. Yeah. And that was the mindset. It took a while. You know, when you're ready to change up something, you usually know you're going to do it like a year out. You usually know what you're going to do. Yeah. So that was
That
I
was,
think the catalyst.
yeah, that pretty much. Yeah.
What were you doing, Julius?
Same. I was working full time while also the shared responsibility of caring for my mom. My mom was actually in a hospice state, so we were caring for her. We were working full time, sometimes still overtime. So my life, our lives, pretty much consisted of care for my mother, advocacy for my mother, and working full time. And
so, if I may ask, what were you doing for work?
oh, at that time I was a CDL driver.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, so in a past life, I was also a CDL driver. I had a CDL B license, so that allowed me to
Nice.
drive a bus. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cool.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just, you know, that's a similarity that we had that I thought was interesting. So when this happened, were you in Texas or where were you?
No, we were in Washington.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
We were
Okay.
raised in Texas. We've been a few places.
Yeah.
We've been to Asia. We've been to Canada, a few places. But at that time, we were in Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, all right, unfortunately, yeah, you know, same thing. My best friend died because of COVID, or at least that was, yeah, or at least that was one of the related causes of death.
Right.
And yeah, you know that. So I can relate. I definitely can relate. So considering the magnitude of COVID and Julius, you know, your mother and then sometimes when you lose a lot of family, it kind of makes you want to stay to be with the rest of your family instead of leaving. So what was going through your mind to make you think that, well, you know, it'll be best for you as a couple to live abroad?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's a great question, and I got a great answer. Well, one place I would start, and I completely understand the whole idea of being drawn in closer to family because you wanna preserve and you wanna hang on to. So I totally get it. Well, simultaneously with everything that she just said, between the working constantly, some people refer to it as the rat race of the attempting to. Because there's a dream, but where does that dream end? When is the end goal? When do you arrive? When do you ever arrive, right? So all of these are things and conversations that we would contemplate, that we would have long, in-depth discussions over dinner, at bedtime, what have you. And in addition to all those other things that we've discussed prior, realizing that we were just ready for something different. Realizing that we wanted to bet on ourselves because we can both read and write, we can both do arithmetic, we can, we've covered that part. So let's take a chance on dreaming. Let's shoot for our dreams. And we chose Tanzania for a lot of different reasons, but we just decided it was time to step out and give it a shot. Just
to piggyback on that, we were taking care of his mother, but we were taking care of a lot of people that we loved. And it was a lot on us. We didn't mind doing it, but when you're in the throes of it, you do it because you love them and you care and you want them to have the best. And it comes a time where you have to kind of pull back and be a little selfish. But we didn't have a lot of time for each other.
Right.
And we just wanted to step out on our own and, just be together and have fun and, be country in another country, that type of thing.
Exactly.
So, absolutely.
And the more you travel, the smaller the world is. I mean, people, and if you don't mind me saying, this is a little bit off topic, but that's one of the things I appreciate about you and respect and love about you and your content. And I'm so glad I met you, got to see you via Sanal. because bro, you don't have to be in Tanzania. You don't have to be on the continent of Africa. That's not a prerequisite, in my opinion. I think, no, I know that I'm happy whenever I see diasporans enjoying their lives, enjoying their adventures, wherever they may be. It may be Mexico, it may be South America, it could be Jamaica, Caribbean, wherever. I just want to see my people happy wherever they at. So.
Yeah, no, I agree, and thank you for that. And I think in the state of the U.S. And unfortunately, the way that society still is, and how it's in many ways still unfavorable to ethnic minorities. I think it's more important than ever to for us to consider what other options are there. Because we only live once, and some people, they say, well, some people may say, oh, well, you need to be the change that you want to see, and they go through the political system, and there is some merit in that. There's nothing wrong with that, but that takes a long time. That takes a long time.
Absolutely.
And by the time maybe the person gets what they want, maybe they've already wasted, or not wasted, or maybe spent maybe 20 years of their life. Why not take that 20 years of your life and go somewhere else where you are appreciated, where you're celebrated, where you're welcome.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I just found that outside of the USA. So I definitely want to talk about where or why when you were considering countries abroad, how did Tanzania become on the top of your list? Did you have other countries in mind? Maybe what was the other alternatives, and how did you land with Tanzania being your final selection?
Well, I'll start this. There were definitely other countries. Ghana was kind of like always an end, never really a place we considered maybe starting out to kind of hang out for a while. But again, the thing that was going around, so it was more like, I think everybody's travel had to be a bit more directed and fine-tuned during those days. And another was the Gambia. Mm-hmm. Another was obviously here in Tanzania. Mm-hmm. And also, believe it or not, like Togo, mm-hmm. the reason that we had so many options is because of previously existing relationships that we had made with continental Africans years before making this transition. Mm-hmm. So a major factor is we have two really, really close friends, one from the Gambia and another from here in Tanzania. And my friend was like, bro, I got you. If y'all really want to do this, you really want to make this move, you really want to make this happen. And we started discussing plans, several months out, like, bro, this is what we want to do. We're ready to do it. They made our transition
very smooth, very.
Well, that helps.
Oh yeah,
it helps to have someone there, someone there that can advise you and give you kind of the 411 on things that you will experience as a new expat there. Let's talk about the cities there in Tanzania, because you chose not to live in the capital city. Many people, they, for example, a lot of American expats, they live in Mexico City. It's the capital city. It has literally everything. It's like New York. It's like the New York City of Mexico. And a lot of other people do the same thing. If they move to Spain, they live in Madrid, or if they move to Colombia, they live in Bogota. So, but you did not. You did not live in the capital city. Let's talk about what the city you live in now, and versus the capital city, and why you preferred not to live there in the capital.
Okay, well, the new capital here, as of recent, past several years, would be Dodoma. But prior to that, it's Dar es Salaam, which still plays that role, in my opinion. As far as business, as far as a lot of other things, the new appointed capital is growing, but Dar es Salaam is what it is. So we chose here because
which is Arusha.
I'm sorry, which is Arusha, by the way. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're in Arusha, Tanzania.
Yeah.
And pretty much it's us getting back to our roots. We grew up in the country, and Tanzania is very rural. It's a combo of city and rural. It's not like Dar es Salaam. Dar es Salaam is it's a city. It's fast paced, and
a mecca of East Africa.
Right.
One of the meccas of East Africa.
Beautiful place.
Big place.
Yeah.
Big place.
And I guess with us being our age and live different cities and different places, we were just kind of over the city.
Yep.
We were just ready to go back to that country roots to have.
And we couldn't have our business. I mean, trying to squeeze in any kind of agriculture. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's all on the perimeters of Dar es Salaam, not in the city. So there's no way that we just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
What she said. And
it's super hot there. We grew up in Texas, so we know the heat. We were kind of over the heat too. Here in Arusha, it's a mountain city. There's Kilimanjaro and Mount Meru close. So living in a mountain area, the climate is different. The climate is vastly different here in Arusha compared to Dar es Salaam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's cooler.
Yeah.
Again, it's cooler. It's like light jacket, sweatshirt weather, probably 60% of the year, and in the evening time. I can rock with that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So is Arusha, is that where is that fall? Is it like the 3rd or 5th biggest city in the country?
Yes, around yeah.
Okay. So you talked about how you wanted to have more access to agricultural land because in the capital, all of that is on the perimeter. So I guess let's talk about maybe someone has the same idea as you. They said, well, yeah, I would like to do something like that too. Let's talk about some modern conveniences, because that's one objection that many Americans or just people who want to live there, they think that, oh yeah, but do they have this or do they have this? So let's talk about some of the modern conveniences. Maybe let's start with, are there like big box stores there in Arusha?
There are several. There are several. In fairness, there's way more in Dar es Salaam.
Yes.
There's way more.
There's
way more in Dar es Salaam. This would be like your. I don't want to name a city to compare it to because I don't know what cities people know or don't know. But I would say this is like big small town USA, if that makes sense. If you could imagine for whoever somebody might be watching this, wherever they're from, if they could imagine a town that's it has an economy, but most of it is centered around agriculture and tourism. Those are the two big economic movers here. So and it's big, it's vast as far as area wise, but when you get to conveniences and modern conveniences, you have
your challenges. There's no Walmart here.
Right.
There's no Target here. There's no fast food restaurants and things like that. So if that's what you're looking for, you're gonna be disappointed.
Right. Right.
If they want that, they can find that in the capital.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. More places like that. I'm not sure of the name. I don't think there's McDonald's or anything like that here, but there's more equivalents to that in Dar es Salaam.
Right.
But there are things. There are things here.
There are shopping centers. Right. They may not be as big as which I like your video, by the way, bro. where you just kind of tour the store. I also like you stopping by showing the organics and the vegetables and plants with medicinal properties.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, you have your grocery stores, your places to shop, and you could find a lot of the same things. Now, because of the import tax, it's going to hit you more, but it's here.
Right.
Some of it.
Some of it. Yeah.
Okay. And so let's talk about probably one of the biggest objections. And this is something I have mentioned in my last video. And many people, they say, well, for example, like people may be our age or younger, and they're not retired. So they're thinking about, okay, well, if I live in Tanzania, or if I live in Ghana, or if I live in Brazil, what am I going to do for work? And sometimes getting a work permit it can be challenging. I can definitely tell you, especially in Mexico, one side of the country to tell you do it this way, and the other side is a totally different process. And I'm sure it's the case in many parts of the developing world. So a lot of us has been more encouraged to work online, work online, getting US income. Now, regarding the internet there in Arusha, do they have, is there just one service provider that covers the whole city? Or is there some options that you can choose from that offers different speeds? Maybe one offers cable or DSL or?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's several service providers as far as internet, phone service, cable,
all that.
all of that. All that's here. That's not a problem.
Yes, and you do have variety. You do have variety
with
and
different packages.
Absolutely.
Whatever fits your needs, you can find whatever fits your needs. Yeah.
What is the fastest internet speed someone could get there? Do you have an idea?
I don't know. Ours is pretty fast, but I haven't looked at the speed, so I can't tell you.
We've had it for a while now. So
I can't tell you the megabytes per second. I can't tell you that, but our internet is pretty. It's pretty good.
It's
okay.
We went to another service provider before, and they had good service too, but we switched over, and we're liking the one with better.
Yeah.
What's the name of your current service provider?
It's Smile Communications.
Smile Communications. Okay, yeah. So I just wanted you to say that, so for people who might be actually considering Arusha, they can definitely check it out. Yeah, in Mexico, it depends on where you live. There are a few parts that may have some internet speed challenges, but most of the country, you always have multiple options, and you always have various types of connections. Person can get we even have in some parts of Mexico a fiber optic, so people can get speeds up to 75 megabytes download, which that's very fast, right? If you type in Google, like literally when you press enter, less than a second, it will already appear on the page.
Right.
That's better than Comcast, man.
Yeah.
Yes, I was pretty surprised. With the internet in Mexico. That's a bit more expensive, but they do offer it. And in other areas, they offer something called satellite internet. That's for areas that I guess the connections are harder the infrastructure is hard to build. And that's the only option. They get it from the sky, the satellite internet. So, but as we both can attest to, there are many of those options in the developing world, and we can still go about our business and do our work online and earn our U.S. income.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's something else, Callan. If I can piggyback on your point a little bit, man. I would, and you kind of pulling me out my comfort zone here, because you know how I feel about getting in grown folk business. I don't really be telling people what to do, but I'll say this: be flexible and realize that everything is give and take. There's something that you may feel like you're sacrificing as far as comforts and conveniences in the States, but you'll gain, you know, tenfold with regards to something else if you'll give these what people call less developed places, because I mean, really, all I see is opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
All I see is opportunity.
It's true. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I understand why, you know, they use terms or they call it developing world. I understand on a broad level. I understand. But in many cases, you know, there's a lot of development in these cities. And for me, you know, if it was so underdeveloped, for example, I wouldn't live in Mexico, for example. So
exactly.
Right.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, bro. And brother, I'm gonna say this too. Something that I appreciate and respect about you doing and the way you do it is something that we make a point to try and do ourselves. Now, we may reflect this energy in different ways, but I like the fact that you're showing people not only is it possible, but how you do it. We try to do the same thing because I really need my people. And when I say my people, yes, I'm talking about Black folk. I really need y'all to understand other people are taking advantage of this globe. I don't mean in a diabolical way. I mean, they're enjoying it. They enjoying its resources. I see every other nationality all over the globe, all over Africa, vacationing, having a great time, living their best life. But for a myriad of different reasons and historical persuasions, we've been led to stay in one spot. And that's unfortunate because, I mean, literally, we're having this conversation. I'm in Tanzania, you're in Mexico, and it's like everybody should be traveling everywhere and seeing everything. And if not to live, at least to visit and find out if you want to make that move or not.
Yeah, and that's a great segue into, I think it's great for people to start the traveling process. I think that's a great form of education for people to learn about different cultures and to have a broader global perspective of the world. But, you know, as you know, for us, this is a lifestyle. You know, you live in Tanzania, I live in Mexico. This is not something we come here for 2 weeks and we go back to the US. Like, we're really expats, you know?
Yeah.
And I think people who want to do that, for example, maybe specifically Tanzania, they may think that, okay, well, what do I need to do, you know, to become a resident, you know? So for example, you know, they have, you know, I guess every country has their temporary residency, permanent residency, and then you become a citizen. How did you two start the residency process? Maybe you could talk about it if it was easy or difficult.
I would, you got this. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Now this is one of those. This is gonna be one of those for a very specific reason. It's so difficult to explain, and everybody's circumstances are so different. Like we're a married couple with no children. If you're in our case and you start a business, your first move would be starting with obtaining your work visa. And I'll stop right there. And my next bit of advice would be get an attorney.
Right. It changes so much, Callan. If we were to give you the rundown, that would be what worked for us. It wouldn't work for someone else. And I would hate for someone to be like, oh, Afrikan Dreamin did this, and I tried it and it didn't work for me. So it's best to talk to a lawyer. There's people that do relocation services. If people want to know more about that, they can definitely contact us and we can steer them in the right direction and link them up with people that do that. That's not really our thing because it's very complicated.
Very complicated.
And you know, we don't want to dip our toe too much into that water, you know. So yeah.
So a lawyer would be the best option.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Interesting. And so for you, is once you get, the fact that you're residents now, did you automatically get permanent residency because you bought land, or I know nothing about Tanzania.
Right.
What type of visa did your lawyer get for you, and how long is it, and what's the situation there?
Right.
Okay.
Well,
go ahead. I help a little bit with this one. We start with the for us, our work visa is what you initially with. Residency here, like most places, takes a while. It takes a long time to obtain residency. So most of the diasporans that I know, they typically, because Tanzania is one of those areas where if you're going to be here, you're going to need a work visa. You pretty much, I mean, of course you have your short-term visa or whatever, but before that becomes an issue, you have to go ahead and initiate your business or take those steps. The reason we're so light on this subject is because there's been issues before about people sharing information that was perceived as
legal advice.
That's legal advice.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And
and there's different avenues to go, so there's not a straight line for anybody. It could be different for everybody, just your circumstances and how you go about getting residency, because we don't have residency. We have work visas. We're working on residency. It takes a while, so I would start, and this is as far as I'll take it. I would start with getting a work visa. That's
getting a lawyer
to help
you get your work
visa, and then take it from there.
Right.
Because there's so many different avenues, and there's so many classes of visas.
Exactly.
That there's different avenues to go on.
Right. Yes,
like,
it's
the way we went might be different from someone else.
Oh, it probably would.
It definitely will be. So
yeah, it's a tier system. So lawyer, not only to aid you with assisting in finding the appropriate visa for you, but also most likely, it's a fair chance, a high percentage that you will be opening a business or starting whatever you want to start when you get over here.
Or going to school
here. Or something like that. So even Tanzania can be a complicated country.
Yes.
As far as that goes. It's not, that's why a lot of people choose like Ghana, or a lot of people choose the Gambia. Some people choose Nigeria, or even Egypt, because it can be really, really complicated here. So now that is a heads up. It can be difficult. It can be time consuming. It can be expensive, but look into it and definitely get with a lawyer.
Yeah.
I think that's great advice, because there's many countries around the world and where the residency process or getting a work visa, it may appear like it's straightforward, but you're actually there. And it could be a totally different process. So I think that's great advice. I think getting a lawyer, I think that is great advice. When people who are maybe considering a place like Tanzania, I know you can only speak about the city that you live in. What can a person expect to pay for rent there?
Oh, it varies.
That varies because everything's negotiable.
Yes.
And the best thing to do is know someone here, or they have the lolly.
Now this is something I can go with. Do you mind, because it is so broad, do you mind if we give you several different
Of course.
variables? Yeah. Okay. I'll start with one, baby, you get one, because I know you're gonna remember something. Okay, for example, it's very customary over here in Tanzania to use what's called a dalali, which is a middleman or woman, but a middle person that acts as a negotiator between
realtor.
A realtor, so to speak.
Yeah.
In some cases, you can have a realtor and a dalali. It is what it is, right? So you have the actual property owner, the landlord, and then you have the Dalali/realtor, and then you have yourself, the individual. So upon arrival, if you know, let's say you're like, wow, I want to stay here for 6 months. You may start out in an Airbnb, you may start out in a hotel. You find yourself looking for a more long-term situation. In some cases, they want 6 months up front. Some realtors want 3 months up front. The price always varies because it's always negotiable.
Right.
So
and,
go ahead.
Yeah, and it varies. It is negotiable, and there's a lot of things. I wouldn't advise people to go online and look for homes.
No.
Because a lot of sometimes it's not updated. Sometimes you see, oh, this is a really nice house. You'll get here and it's been taken for months.
For months.
You know, I just wouldn't advise it. And there's a lot of things, a lot of houses, apartments, and all that kind of stuff that isn't online. That's where a lot of the hidden gems are. They won't be online. You have to know someone that knows someone that knows someone that can put you in touch with whomever. The ranges vary. It depends on family size, what you're looking for. You can get a room for like $30 US, or
a month.
A month. And yeah,
it's amazing. Well, what about something like a 2-bedroom apartment? Maybe a 2-bedroom house.
A 2-bedroom house, that might, depending on the area, depending on the city, maybe, and again, Callan, we throwing out numbers that we've seen. None of this is rock solid because it changes, quite frequently. But you could say for a 2-bedroom house in an area like Arusha, that's not really in anywhere near as small as it may be, the city center, maybe $100 to $150 US, which would be like 300,000 to shilling. So
yeah, we did a house tour video. You guys can check that out. And that particular house was a 2-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
2-bedroom, 2-bath.
And I think the owner for that particular, and they have a lot of property and space outside. So I think that particular house was like, I think he wanted 600.
I think he wanted 600 US.
So it varies. There's not a cap. No one, there's not a 2 bedrooms are between this price and this price. It's really the owner, what they want, and what you can negotiate. Because if you have negotiation skills, you can probably get it a lot cheaper than that.
Yes.
And be very happy with a nice size house and a lot of space outside.
And that property also, in addition to the creek behind it, it also had available farmland. Right. It has about an acre
of farmland that came with that. So there's a lot of places that you won't find online. Like I said, you have to know someone and ask questions and go around to different people, and you can find something really, really lovely and negotiate the price to make happen.
Yeah. It's very similar in Mexico. There's always a price. But most people don't pay the advertised price.
Right.
You negotiate and you find that median price. And unfortunately, that's one thing I feel like our native culture is not used to, right? And the price is already advertised, we pay it,
Right.
Or we buy it, or we rent an apartment, the price is already advertised, we pay it. So it's not natural typically for us to negotiate, but as we see, living in Africa and Latin America, it's necessary.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And not to go off too far, but I think that plays a role into the sociology of a society, because if you live in a society where negotiation is a constant and something that's expected and anticipated, you readily negotiate, and it's not seen as a threat or as you're trying to take, or an insult that you're trying to take away from me. It's just built into the culture. So please, people, wherever you go, If you go if you go to Mexico, if you come anywhere in Africa, whatever country, be prepared to negotiate.
And haggle, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very good advice. So let's talk about food because that's a big part of everyone's lives,
Yes.
and you know it's different, you know, depending on where you are. And we're going to talk a little later about your farming business. But for the people who probably won't have a farm and they just want to live in another country, maybe you can discuss what maybe the supermarkets there are like, or maybe just the open markets where I guess they buy chickens or buy other fruits and vegetables. What can a person expect, maybe specifically in Arusha? Are there less processed products, like maybe a person won't find soy milk or something like that? Or are there a few processed products? Maybe you can discuss the balance of the options.
Yeah. So there are grocery stores here, just regular grocery stores that we are, as Americans, as we're used to. You can go in and buy your produce and your meats and all that kind of stuff there, and all of that stuff, your personal hygiene things, all that stuff. And then there's the markets, and the markets are huge here, and you can find all kinds of fresh produce, fresh meats, spices. Just you can find anything at the market. It might take you a little more footwork, and you might have to walk around a little more and like negotiate for prices. Yep. But you can find anything you need here. It's here. I would, if I was coming here, I would definitely bring your seasonings.
Bring your spices.
Certain stuff, like if you like
Old Bay,
bring that because you're not gonna find it. You'll find salt. You'll find pepper. You'll find basic spices, garlic, cinnamon, onion powder, just stuff like that. But those little niche things that you like, if you like Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce or something like that, I would bring that stuff with you. But for the most part, you can find anything, and the markets are awesome. You can find all this fresh produce and vegetables, and everything's fresh and locally sourced. So you can find anything in the market, anything in the market here.
Now, on the flip side, I'm sorry, go ahead, bro.
No, I was going to say, do they have things like, I just say it because specifically for me, for example, I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't drink the regular milk. I have to drink, the lactose-free milk or goat's milk, but the cow's whole milk, I can't really digest that well. Do they have like lactose-free products there, or maybe gluten-free products there?
I have seen soy milk here. If you drink goat milk, you can actually go to my island and get some fresh goat milk. It's just cool. Fresh.
That would be something you would just want to get right in the neighborhood.
Absolutely. But I don't think in the grocery store.
No.
Anything like
not like lactate or anything like that. For people who are lactose intolerant, I don't recall seeing it.
No.
But
that doesn't mean it's not here.
That doesn't mean that's very true. It doesn't mean it's not here. And also, would you say gluten-free? I've seen some gluten-free products, but they're usually import, and they usually pretty expensive.
Right, and that comparison with the supermarkets versus the markets, the open markets. The supermarkets, all that stuff is imported, so you're going to be paying a lot more for that than if you want, because there's some things that you have to go to the supermarket for specific, and you have to go there because that's the only place you can find it. But fruits and vegetables, meat, and all that stuff, you can go to the market and get it for fractions of the price.
Right. Oh, okay. And I mean your basic meats like chicken, beef, pork, if you eat pork, stuff like that. But on the flip, which is what I was about to say, we Texas native, man, born and raised. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but you ain't finna find no Earl Campbell's over here. Hot links. You're not finna find Hillshire Farm, Jimmy Dean. Like you're not finna find no maple flavored Jimmy Deans in your local grocery. It ain't going down.
It's not happening.
It ain't gonna happen at all.
No, that's okay. No, and I think maybe some people, they want something that's more fresh, something that's literally has just been killed in 2 hours, So I think a lot of people do desire that, and it's good to know that they do have those options, those imported options, although they may be more expensive. Let's talk about healthcare, because people think, well, I'm older, or maybe they have concerns. What if I get sick? What is the healthcare like specifically there in Arusha, or maybe if not Arusha, maybe some options that's nearby Arusha, some healthcare options.
Okay. Well, since I've been to the doctor more recently, I'll even delve in just a little bit into the issue. So I went through a phase where sometimes when you travel, sometimes when you live in certain places, you may assume that I had a stomach bug, and I wanted to find out what was going on, checked and tested, like blood work, other work to make sure I had no parasites, all of those things, right? And the doctors were phenomenal. The staff was phenomenal, kind, respectful. The total price for everything, mind you, this is lab work included with everything, and seeing the doctor, and it cost the total of about $43 US.
Oh, wow. So
yeah.
lab work and medication for parasites and an initial doctor's consult for $43.
Yeah, well, actually, the good news is I didn't have a parasite. What it was is I had just been not really doing a cleanse, but I had kind of tweaked my diet a little bit, and the weather was really good. I was getting a bit more exercise because I do have some issues, some knee issues and old injuries and stuff like that. So just being out walking, eating more fruits and vegetables, kind of body was doing a little cleansing. So I was good, everything was good, but really happy to see the healthcare the way that it was. And Arusha doesn't have the biggest hospitals, but yes, there are hospitals here. If you need some advanced care, Moshi is about an hour away. They have some specialty clinics in their hospital, like orthopedic, I think oncology, things like that. And of course, as you go, Arusha.
Yeah, there's lots of options. That was a big concern. Yeah, that was a big concern for me when we were talking about coming here to live, because I was in the medical field. So I was like, what are the medical options? Are going to be able to go to the doctor easily and all that stuff. They have everything here. They have women's health here. They have OBGYNs. Yes, they have pediatricians, surgeons. They have everything that you would need. Dentists. Very reasonable, but nothing like the prices you would pay in the US.
Right.
You don't have to have insurance here. You can pay out of pocket, and it won't break the bank. You won't have to file for bankruptcy because you have to have a surgery. You can actually afford to take care of yourself here.
Oh, that is not medical advice. Everyone should have insurance. Y'all should get the best insurance you can get.
No, I'm
Blue
just saying,
Blue Shield,
if you're like, oh, I have to have Expat insurance, and yes, you should
right.
look into
That's
that. If you want to do that. But if you don't have those, insurance and stuff, you can pay out of pocket, and you won't be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Or this
you might find
money.
Right. You might find it quite affordable.
Right.
You might find it.
That's exactly what I do in Mexico. I don't have an insurance plan. I pay everything out of the pocket, and every time I pay is always affordable. It's like $25 for a dental cleaning. You can also, it's like the same price. You can get a consult with a physical therapist, and surgeries cost more, but typically it's half of the price than the USA. And for us, I think it's just more practical to pay out the pocket.
Yes.
I I think from our native culture, we're used to the whole insurance system and insurance
Which
plans.
is insane.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
It is.
and they have those here in Mexico, but for me, I just found it easier to just pay out the pocket. Maybe when I get older, I'll probably get one of the local insurance plans, but I don't get sick very often, so
Right.
I just think it's more practical to pay out the pocket.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing I like, another little tidbit is the holistic side that's thrown in before every pill is offered, before every injection is considered. The first thing, whether you have a headache, whether you have a broken leg, the doctor say, hey, lay off meat for about 3 weeks to a month.
Or drink this type of tea.
Or drink a tea.
Yeah.
And these are actual educated we full MDs just like any other country, and I wish that more people would give the medical professionals here equal acknowledgement for their skills. Now they may not have all the resources and technologies, but I think they're equally proficient, and I like
how they start with the holistic
approach. Right.
Yeah.
Very good. And let's talk about the other. We talked about a little bit about this earlier, but maybe someone may have kind of your idea in mind of how you sustain yourself. So, as far as your farming business, do you grow things and do you sell it to other supermarkets, or do you sell it to like cooperatives, or do you just grow the thing, or do you just grow those fruits and vegetables to sustain yourselves regarding food?
Almost all of the above.
Yeah.
We definitely have our smaller, little things that we do for us here on site on our property. But with the business, the way, first off, I'll be completely honest and upfront. You said if someone has an idea like ours, don't look for it to be easy. Look for it to be possible, but don't look for it to be easy for some of the points that we've discussed tonight. Like you said, Calvin, this side of the country says one thing, and then another, because like that's real. That happens everywhere. So it can be complicated. It could be tricky. It could change depending upon whom you're speaking with. So be mentally prepared for that. Mm-hmm. And two, it's possible, but it's gonna take time. Right. It's gonna take time. And the way we do it, we have our things that we do here, right, at our property. It's not really a co-op in that regard, but I guess that's a close enough word. I have friends and even business partners. While we're still fine-tuning our business, we more or less handle a lot of our daily stuff from his property. So, and that's how we manage it right now. We're small. We'll always be small. We never want 1,000 bird operation or 100,000 bird operation. We're not striving to be the next Pilgrim's Pride or nothing like that. Right. Most Tanzanians.
How many acres? How many acres do you have?
Well, in hectares, you would say, I'd say about 1.5. So that'd be about 3 and maybe 3/4
acres. Okay.
Acres. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't need a lot.
We're still very much in the infancy of our business. We're still, making connects and things like that. And as we grow, we'll have more people to, utilize our services and vice versa. So we're still working on a lot of aspects.
And not making a lot of money. So y'all should be ready for that too. Because you're getting hit from 2 different ways. For one, you're using your let's say it's dollars. Hypothetical, if it's dollars, you're using and investing your dollars for a return that's in another currency that's less than the money. So it's gonna take time. It's as we say in Tanzania, slowly. And regardless of whatever business you're in, now this part I can talk about freely because it ain't no immigration issue, none of that, right? So be prepared for that. Now, if you work online strictly and that's all you do is work online, then that's a completely different thing. But if you have a brick and mortar business here, or maybe even an online partial, then brick and mortar here, be prepared for things to be complicated and to make money in a different currency. And I think that really shocks people once the reality hits. And it's like, oh, wow, I invested this much, but I'm only going to make this much.
Yeah. So you have to know your business plan and what you're willing to invest in those losses you're going to take when starting a business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think it really helps for you two because your cost of living is lower. You know,
right.
If you try to do the same thing in a country like US or Canada, you're probably homeless already.
Right, seriously.
Hey, I told you, all I see is opportunity.
Yeah.
All I see is opportunity, Caleb.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I have, for whatever reason, I keep wanting to say Caleb. I say your name too fast and it comes out wrong.
It's okay. Don't worry, it's okay. What about transportation? So if a person lives there in Arusha or maybe another similar city, you know, is there public transit like buses, trains, or taxis, or?
Yeah. For local just transit, there's a dollar, which is a big van, and you pay 500, 600 shillings, which is like a quarter.
About 24 cents, 23, 24 cents.
You pay that. That's public transportation. They have bajajis, which I just did a video about that. My first bajaji ride, which is awesome. They have those. They're like 3-wheel mini taxis, and they range about 5,000 shillings, which is like $2.50.
Yeah, depending on where you're going.
Yeah, and then they have the bodas, which are the motorcycles. They also have an Uber-like thing called InDriver. You can call.
It's an app.
Yeah,
it's an app too. You download the app on your phone and you use InDriver just like you would use Uber.
Right, and get a private driver, or you can just find someone you like privately and have them drive you. So there's lots of ways to get around. That's not a problem.
There's always transportation, day or night. You can get around.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Around.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Is it a good idea to own a car there, or is it better to take public transit?
It depends on the person.
Okay. But for example, can a person drive to a Honda dealership in Arusha, or do they have to maybe go somewhere else to buy a car?
They have car dealerships here. It wouldn't necessarily be a Honda car dealership. I know what you're saying, but
gotcha.
But there's lots of car dealerships here.
Absolutely.
Buying a car here can be kind of expensive because of import tax and all that kind of stuff. But it is possible to buy a car here, no problem.
Well, and speaking of that, I could throw this in too. If you're thinking about shipping a car, that's gonna, because of the way the imports are set up for, it's expensive. Everything is expensive. So, but to answer your question, yes.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, if you're prepared for it, now you're gonna be versus the U.S. You're gonna be opposite side drive. So it's right side drive versus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that could take some getting used to, but it's really possible. I mean, we do it. People do it all the time.
Okay, cool. So as we come to an end, what is what is the best advice that you would give to someone specifically? They want to come to Africa. They want to come to Africa, and maybe Tanzania is on your list, or maybe other countries like Ghana or Gambia. What would be some best advice that you would offer an aspiring expat wanting to move to that particular part of Africa?
Okay, you go first.
Coming to Tanzania, I would definitely say learn the language. You don't have to be fluent, but at least learn some phrases, learn the money.
So that's Swahili?
Yes, Kiswahili.
Okay.
Yes. There's lots of people who speak English here, but it's not. Kiswahili is the language, the main language here. So you definitely need to learn some Kiswahili if you want to navigate I would say come with an open mind. You know, kind of leave those preconceived notions, you know, at home. Try not to compare everything to America. I know that's your benchmark. If that's where you're from, you're gonna do that. But just know that you're not in America. It's gonna be very different.
Right.
Get to know local Tanzanians, get to know them, get to talk to them, because they're gonna be the people when you need something. Those are gonna be the people that that you're gonna call, and they're gonna help you out. So yeah, that's my.
I agree.
Yeah.
And for me, I would say everything she said. I mean, because it's true, and be prepared for something for the unexpected. And that's automatically taken as usually a negative thing, like, oh, be careful, because no, be expected for a friendship that may blossom as somebody you never thought you would meet. Be prepared for things to go great. Be prepared to say, wow, I love it here. I'm ready to like change my life and move. And because I think, babe, I think you covered the rest of it. Be prepared to have a good time, learn, explore, and keep an open mind.
And so research some of the local customs, some of the things, the do's and don'ts. I would definitely research that before you come here, because you don't want to do
insult
something
somebody
by accident and you're not meaning any harm. But yeah, definitely look at the customs and you know, ask questions, be inquisitive.
Oh, and one more, Callie, please. If you know if you think any country that you may be thinking about visiting in Africa, if you have a co-worker, if you have a cousin, girlfriend, if you know a guy down the street, start to incorporate and befriend and make acquaintance with people while you're still in America. Please. So that was it. That's my last one.
That was great advice. And for people who want to learn more about you, maybe you could tell them a bit about your YouTube channel and what they can find there.
Okay. Oh, we are, I'm Julius.
I'm April.
And we are Afrikan Dreamin. We are a husband and wife team that moved to Tanzania, East Africa, a little bit over a year ago. We started a small poultry, little agriculture business, and we're just completely and totally enjoying life. And our channel is about cooking. It's about gardening, farming, some of our, you know, showing our chickens or whatever, and just how life here is for us. And that's why people like Callan are so important, because you show parts that we don't, and I appreciate how you relay information, and thank you so much for having us on. And on our channel, we just show that it's possible.
It's possible, and we're all trying to reach the finish line. We're just trying to do it.
That's it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We be watching.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And yeah, I really recommend people to check out Afrikan Dreamin. Lots of great videos there. Some of the videos that I really enjoy the most, I like your open discussions, Julius. I think that's cool. I think that's sometimes I can't watch all of it, because it's like sometimes it's 3 hours, 4 hours, but I try to watch at least an hour or 2 hours, and I always enjoy your open discussions and how sometimes you're vulnerable and you talk about your life, and that's real. I really appreciate that. That's real. That you know, a lot of people don't do that. That's real. So kudos to you for that. And yes, you know, you have a great variety of videos that I would recommend people to check out. Definitely subscribe to their channel. Definitely. You work the subscription. So thank you, Julius and April, for being with me today. And I hope to see you again on this channel.
Absolutely. Would have it. Actually, if we can work this out, if at all possible, bro, we'd like to have you over sometime.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, that's definitely something we can, communicate further. I will be happy to do that.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.